and welcome. You're watching FII. I'm Sonal Mehrotra Kapoor. Now, just last week, we did a detailed episode on jobs and skills that are going to be in vogue in the post-pandemic world. Or what exactly should you do to prepare yourself for this sort of recruiting process? We've got some minds, the best of the minds in the industry for you to answer some of those questions. On the program today, we have K. Ganesha. He's a promoter for Big Basket, Protea Medical as well. He joins us on the program. Tushar Garg, the founder for the Yummy Idea, also joins us on the show. Thanks so much. And also joining us is Mr. Valliappa. He's a founder for HireMee and CEO for We Technologies. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us on the panel. Can I just ask you to give me an example of how are you going to assess these qualities in a person on a Zoom call? On a video chat, because that seems to be a challenge there. And Mr. Valliappa wants to come on that one. Why don't you go ahead, sir? I'll just come back to Mr. Ganesh.
Sure. Sonal. Actually, about 4 years ago, we actually created HireMee with exact set of skills. So we created an app where you had three aptitudes: logical, verbal, quantitative, plus the core domain. And we actually did a psychometric analysis as well. So the main aim of HireMee was to try to take and discover talent in rural areas. So discover diamonds in rural areas, because we believed in democratizing jobs availability. So that's how we did that. It's a 100-minute assessment, and we're offering it free of charge to any student to go take that test. And then we have a HireMee score, because what's the biggest problem for an average student is that they take various interviews and they keep getting various rejections. So an average student in India gets rejected 24 times before they get a job. So, and every time you go back home, all the parents ask them, what happened to the interview with this company? I failed. But they failed that assessment. They're not a failure, but they consider them to be a failure. So that's how we wanted one app. And there's also a 20-second video clip, and you do 3 20-second video clips. So you set the snake in whichever way you want.
If I understand correctly, a psychometric analysis is basically to tell you more traits and the personality traits of the person as an individual, not just their core area of expertise and not just his technical skills. Is that correct?
Exactly. So like what Mr. Bhaskar Bhatt from Titan Watches told us, he says, give me a guy who speaks great Gujarati. I need somebody to manage the store in Ahmedabad, my Tanishq store or something like that. So it's not that English is the matter. So they can communicate in whatever language, but I want to know that they're an A-type personality if I'm going to put them in sales. So that's how you stratify that. And you can set the level, and only students above that would show up to you. You click that, you get a 20-second video clip. You click, you like them, and then you can swipe left or right. And that's how the whole model came. And we are offering it free of cost to students. So that's how we wanted to do our bit.
Interesting example you chose of Tanishq and in Gujarat. So I think many more skills will be required than just knowing Gujarati on that front. But I'll leave it there. Let me bring it. I wanted to understand actually one of the crucial questions here with the ways recruiting is going to change, or the forms of the capacity of what one particular profile is going to look like. What sort of bearing is it likely to have on, say, the compensation in that traditional way?
So we're going to see, actually, some very interesting fact is that we're going to see more women in the workplace now. So far, if you look, about 25% of the workforce have been women. But I think that's going to go to about 33% post the lockdown.
Why do you say that?
Because that's what we see, because now work from home is a reality. A lot of women were not allowed to go and work at home because a lot of our employees left saying that I got married, so I couldn't work, or they had to move to where their husbands are, and there are not opportunities available there. So now we're moving into rural areas. So we're moving into rural areas. So we lost somebody because they went to Vijayawada because we didn't have an office there. But now we have an office anywhere our employees are. So we are taking work to the employees. So earlier they used to come to work. Now the work is going home. So a lot of more rural people can get jobs, like what we were speaking about in the gig economy. So the jobs are going. And earlier we work on the U.S. healthcare segment in big technologies. So our clients would never allow healthcare work to go home, but today it's being allowed. So that's enabled us to go to 3,000 offices today and operate out. So these people are getting work where they are. So that's how more women come into play. And,
I'm
but
fascinated
it's
by
also-
what you're saying, because so far the studies that had come out had said that women took the hardest hit of the pandemic.
They do.
Even in the
it's a boon
workforce.
and a bane. It's a boon and a bane, because at home, our women employees who are in Bangalore or Chennai or Salem, they want to come back and work, because there's no yardstick between what's home and what's an office. So, like, they have elderly parents or kids coming in and disturbing them. So that's causing a change. But I think now it's also settling down. So once work from home
You're saying
matures,
in the long
because it's a
run,
very nascent-
you might see a lot of them coming back. Right.
Exactly. So then there's like barriers and barricades to say that, okay, if the
Right.
red light's on, I'm at work, or the light's on. So,
And
from that
empathy
perspective.
being seen by the employers as well, that being a factor. So that should also actually be handling. That's one of the predictions there. Quickly finish your point. I'll go to Vishal next.
Yeah, because on the office side, earlier you had an office and the office infrastructure, but in our employee's house, we start carrying, now the whole shift is moving from healthcare to wellness for all our employees. So we are now doing a health assessment and trying to make sure that the employees don't get sick, that kind of stuff. So we noticed that the chairs they were sitting were not ergonomic. So we actually took our office chairs. It said the chairs were sitting idle and shifted to their employees' houses so that they could work better and be more comfortable.
Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us on this very educating program. I hope this helped you, and this will help you prepare on how recruiting and hiring will happen in the post-COVID world. Thanks for watching.